Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I'm back with another layout which is for creating with collections. This is going to be volume 4, which is using the Cocoa Vanilla Storyteller line. And a reminder that Sara Scraps herself is playing along this round. Her video already posted today. I kind of got my days backwards and wasn't really paying attention to what time. I thought we were posting later today, so I'm playing a little bit of catch up today. I did want to say that this video is kind of pieced together. I didn't do this layout all in one sitting. I had actually started this layout prior to going to a crop in February, and I ended up finishing it at the crop there. When I started the layout, I was actually on a video call with a friend, and I did try to cut out as much like hand waving chit chat as I possibly could. But we all know that this is not a professional editing vibe type channel. We are just here to play with paper, have fun, not take things too seriously, and just make pretty things. So I paired the Storyteller kit with a Scrapbook Generation sketch. No shocker there. Trying to figure out where I put it. This one is not the right sketch. Okay, I'm pretty sure that this sketch is one of those 4x6 ones that I was playing through. I think I've already put it away. I will double check. I will go ahead and link the sketch bundle below in the description. I think if you're still trying to purchase the Cocoa Vanilla line, I'm thinking it might be sold out in most places. I tend to just copy and paste the same links because I'm hopeful that maybe things get restocked. I'm not 100% sure. This is my first experience with Cocoa Vanilla, so I don't really know if they're kind of like some of the other manufacturers that do restock really popular lines, so I'm not sure. So I do apologize if you are trying to find it and you can't, but the idea of this type of series is to basically just take any collection in your stash and kind of see how far you can go with just that collection. Like what can you get out of it? I tend to gravitate towards sketches because it takes one of the decision-making elements of the process out for me and just kind of takes one decision off my plate, and I can kind of free up some other things in my brain, if that makes sense. So this particular sketch that I picked has a bunch of these like 1x3 strips of pattern paper. I tend to gravitate towards that little, I want to say it's a 6x8 pad. I think it's actually 6x8.5. It's called an A5, which is probably an Australian size, whereas like A4 is common to us for like card making. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I tend to gravitate towards the sketches that have like all the little bits of pattern paper kind of lined up like this. I don't know if I just enjoy the torture or it's the fact that you get so many different patterns all together. I know some of you hate it. A friend of mine absolutely hates that, and she most times will substitute like a busy paper or like a pre-printed quilty type design for there, and it always looks good. So that's another option too, like if you had a really busy paper or you had one of those ones that's kind of already printed into like a quilt type design. I like all the little bits, so I make all the little bits. I really wish I had the sketch in front of me. I don't think I did a ton of modifying. I do like to add some extra horizontal strips here and there. I went ahead and I added a white cardstock border here. I do this a lot where I want something up there like on the top and the bottom of all the pattern paper, but I don't want to bring in another pattern paper. I don't want to emphasize one of the patterns that I've already used. So I will typically just go with whatever cardstock is my background, and it kind of makes that like tone on tone texture-y type thing. And that's just a personal preference. That's something that I like to do. Now, I think when I was dealing with my video clips, I meant to speed this up or cut some of it out. But I know that a lot of you have told me that you prefer longer videos, or you really like to see like the whole process. I kind of get different, not critiques, but different opinions sometimes if I leave something in or cut something out. And I always think it's interesting, like what people like to watch. So if this is the part that bores you, go ahead and scoot through, fast forward, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. This is the part of the process that I actually enjoy the most. I think the layout comes alive when you get to the embellishing stage, but I don't know, for me, I think when I say struggle, I don't mean like it doesn't work out. I mean, like, I struggle with embellishing just because I feel like it's so many choices, so many options, so many decisions, and if I don't sort of already know what I want to do, I tend to get overwhelmed with like a lot of options, which is kind of nice in this aspect with the way that I have sort of issued this challenge to myself with these collections, because only having the embellishments that I have picked and purchased to go with this kit does kind of eliminate some of those decisions. Now, time-consuming things like stitching and die cutting are things that I enjoy, and so a lot of times I end up finding myself combining those with this collection. And I know that that's not for everybody, but again, do those things that you really enjoy. And something like this where you're repeating the same papers and embellishments and you're sort of sitting in this kit for a long time, depending on your usage of the supplies and stuff, sometimes it can feel tedious, and sometimes it can kind of suck the fun out of it. And that's when you want to bring in techniques or tools and things like that you enjoy. Now, of course, I just completely goobered up that photo, which it's fine. Because I print at home, I will just go ahead and print another one of those. I feel like probably 60% of the time I end up getting adhesive on my photos. It's a bad habit. I'm kind of lazy and messy when it's time to adhere my photos down. And I've had somebody comment before that I make them nervous every time I, go to put adhesive on my photos and I'm working on top of other photos. And trust me, I hate myself for it too. But printing at home kind of makes me feel less stressed about it. So I do try to get everything lined up, especially on a double where they're going to meet in the middle. I'm not sure if you could see on the right page, sometimes I will end up with a little sliver of my paper where the pattern paper was just a tiny bit shorter than the 12 inches. That doesn't bother me. Most of the time I will take my whole sheet of paper after I've put my pattern papers on it, and I will just take a little thin slice, and you'll never know it's not the full 12 inches, and it actually ends up fitting in my page protectors a little bit better. So I kind of don't mind when that happens. So I'm just repeating all those same little paper elements that I have on the other side. I am keeping in mind that I do need to reprint that photo, so some of the stuff that's not lined up that great, it's going to be behind the photo, so I'm not really concerned about that, I guess I would say. So yeah, this is the stage of a layout that like I kind of enjoy, is the paper and the photos. And I don't really need to, I don't want to say I don't need to think while I'm doing this, but I don't need to think creatively while I'm doing this. And so a lot of times that's when I am kind of thinking to myself, okay, what do I want to do title-wise? Where do I think I'm going to put my journaling? Is there any specific embellishments that I kind of want to attempt to put on here? Or is there any kind of die cutting I want to do? Do I want to stitch? Like, while I'm doing the boring, adhering the paper is kind of when I am thinking about the next steps and which kind of where am I going to start? So at this point, this is when I have my little setup going at the crop. So my mat has changed. I'm a little bit zoomed in, and I'm going to apologize that you will be seeing the back of my head a lot because the camera is just much closer to me when I use this type of tripod, and sometimes I can't see and I have to get my big old head up in there to figure out where I'm putting little tiny hearts. So I keep pulling out my cardstock sheets that I had temporarily attached all of the die cuts to, and I kind of broke them down to where I've got like 2 sheets that have the florals, and then I have 2 sheets that have like icons and phrases and like the butterflies and stuff like that, and then I have 2 sheets of the 6x12 stickers. I've mentioned previously, I didn't realize that the paper pack came with the 6x12 stickers, and I bought them on their own, so I ended up with 2. Most people would be like, great, that's awesome. I'm having a hard time using the stickers, so having 2 of them is making me a little bit like, how am I going to get through all these? But this is the stage in this challenge where I would say I'm probably a third of the way through the kit. And I think I have maybe 7 or 8 layouts done, and I'm only saying that I'm a third based on how much paper I have left. So I'm kind of, this is the part where I start thinking, okay, what are some different ways to use pattern paper or use more pattern paper, different ways to use up more of the embellishments. Every time I've run this challenge, I kind of have a different ending point or a different point in the process where I say, you know what, I think I've used up as much as I can or I want to, and that is always a little bit different. Sometimes I'm just tired of the collection, and maybe the stuff that I have left, like I think it was the first one, anybody that's been here for a while, if you remember the chairs from the Simple Stories collection, there was no way that I was going to come up with a layout that required chairs to be embellished with. And I'm kind of a little bit linear, or not linear, but I can't just put a chair on a layout and have it not be something about my house or something. Like, I can't have like a picture of like going on a walk with my kids and then I put a chair on the layout. Don't get me wrong. The people that have the creative freedom to do that, I bow down to you. My brain works differently. We're all different. My brain did not like those chairs. So I think it was at that point where I was like, okay, I'm done with this one. I still don't think I'm done with volume 3 because I still enjoy the papers. So for me, it's a little bit different, and I'm really, really excited and curious to see and talk to Sara at the end of this, because she has a completely different style and like a completely different way that she kind of goes about supplies. So I would love to kind of at the end of this maybe do like a video Q&A with her and kind of get her take on what she liked about it, what she didn't like about it, what did she struggle with, what didn't she struggle with, like just so many questions. And I might even, if I can talk her into it, so Sara, if you're watching, be prepared for the text message regarding this. If she says yes, I'll probably post like a thread in my Facebook group and do like a call for questions, whether it's for me or for her, regarding this type of like twist on a Kill a Kit challenge is kind of what I think of this, where the kit is within a collection. I think I especially like watching her videos because she has such a different style and a different like attack on the supplies than I do. And I always end up taking something away and being like, okay, I should try that, or like a lot of times she'll gravitate towards the patterns that I've been avoiding, and I'm like, you know what, it's not that bad. It looks good on her layout. Like I think the last one she did like a masculine layout, didn't use like any of the pinks and reds or florals, and it was so cool. So I'm kind of excited to hurry up and finish the voiceover for mine so that I can upload it and then I can go watch hers. This is something I mentioned, I think, in the previous video. I came up with the idea that instead of using my white cardstock scraps to do the layers for stack die cutting, I was like, you know what? There's so much paper because I'm dumb and I bought so much paper. I need to use it, and it's still paper. It's still going to stack. It's still going to create that dimension that I'm looking for, and who cares if there's a print on it? So I just pick like a print that I am not really gravitating towards. Oh, okay. There's my room number and apparently the password of the day for the Wi-Fi to the hotel. I think this was, I had to wait to check in, and the girl had come to get me to give me my card, so I hadn't gone up to the room yet. So I continued to use the same die set. I believe it's a Lawn Fawn one. I'm blanking on the name. I'll link it below. I think I'm pretty sure I got mine on Amazon because every time I went to buy it, it was sold out, and I just randomly found it on Amazon, and it was the same price. So I went ahead and just ordered it from there. And then the smaller one is, I'll have to find it. It's like stamping rose or paper rose, something like that. It was one of those ones where I like to go on to like a Cherry on Top or Scrapbook.com, and I go into the alpha dies, and I'll change like the sort to like lowest to highest, highest to lowest, newest, best selling, and like I'll almost always end up finding an alpha set I've never seen before. And I liked that those were smaller, and they're similar to the ones that are in that Stamp Market set that I use a lot that comes with the little letterboard. Only these ones, for some reason, they cut a little bit better. The Stamp Market one that I have, I don't know if I got a bad one or what, but a couple of the letters just don't cut all the way through, and I get a little irritated. But I still love it. It's like such a good size. So now I'm on the hunt for like medium to small size alphabets. And so far I'm not finding a ton. So I, again, was using that ebook that Scrapbook Generation put out that's all about journaling. I love the section that has a whole bunch of different titles. So I think I took one from there, or I may have modified it. I don't remember. It's been a couple weeks, and just went with Growing Up Friends because my kids are really close in age, and they argue here and there, but for the most part they are like little built-in best friends, and I kind of hope it continues. We'll see. The teenage years are creeping up, and one of them is calm, one of them is moody. Kind of curious to see where it takes us. This is my favorite little box in the whole wide world because it is filled with my little teeny tiny dies. I have my Lawn Fawn hearts in here, the Altenew mandala maker, which is what these hearts are from. I have my little mama elephant stars are in there. It's a problem, but it's a problem that I enjoy, so it's not a problem for me. I really like making them. I like the fact that with the pattern papers, I can make my tiny embellishments specific to my layout. I know that there was, are they puffy flowers or puffy hearts? Sara got them in her kit, and I think she got 2 packs. I was so tempted, but I knew that by having them be pre-made, I would probably just use them up super fast. And I was like, I tried to limit how many embellishments I was getting because, again, I get really overwhelmed sometimes when I have like so many decisions and like so many good things to pick from. So to me, using the dies and the papers and making my own I don't know. It's just, I enjoy the process, and then I really enjoy the final look. I think I like the paper look better than like the puffy look. But man, those puffy ones were cute. So I just kind of go through. I already have the white ones. They're 3 layers thick. I had done those a couple months ago during like a Zoom crop. I have a tendency to chat and not be able to do anything really of substance. So I will sit there and die cut hearts and glue them together because it doesn't take a lot of focus. And then I typed up my journaling yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and run it through my favorite little journal strip die. I think it's a sentiment strip die. I just call it the die. The die lives on my desk, and if I ever find it in stock again, I tend to go ahead and like scream on my Facebook group when I find it in stock. Next time I might have to order myself a second one because this one got lost for a little bit in my room and I was not okay. This thing, I don't know, it makes my journaling strip so even, and for somebody that has a hard time making things even, this has become one of those things that just stays on my desk all the time, and I absolutely love it. So went ahead, cut out my journaling and glued it on, and that's pretty much it. Again, because these are family photos from an outdoor session, I keep things simple. I keep the focus on the photos with some fun with the papers and stuff, but I don't really go into like deep journaling. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the longer video. If you're looking for links, check the description box below. If you're looking for somewhere to hang out, check the Facebook group, and make sure you go over to Sarah's channel and find her video for the Creative Collections Volume 4. And I will see you guys shortly with another video. Bye!